Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. Look at all solutions when problem solving. Because one thing, if you're a sovereign man, you're going to have problems. In fact, on your path to sovereignty, on your path to have control over what you can and leverage over what you can't, you're going to have problems. That's just life. That's just life. One of the things that you have to do, you have to look at all solutions. And I was inspired to do this because there was something going on with my laptop. Stuff was just slow on it. And I was like, oh man, I might have to take this in. But then I stopped, I breathed. Then I looked at everything and I was able to fix the problem right away. I was able to fix it. I was like, oh, okay. You know what? Let me talk about this with the fellas. Because one of the things you have to do, or one of the things you have to realize is you're going to have problems. Stuff is going to come up. It's going to come up on a regular. I wish it was a case of if no matter what happened, everything just going to work out on its own. It don't. If you're going to be a sovereign man, that means you got to take control, not just over just everyday instances in your life that you can control, but also the problems. You want to be in a position or where you can at least solve the problem. Now, it might come to a point where you might have to bring someone else in. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that if you do everything that you can do to solve the problem. You know, you looked at everything. You looked at everything you can do. And there's no problem with that because you're still a sovereign man if you go to someone else for their help because they might have more expertise, they might have better tools, whatever. There's a lot I can do with my car, when something breaks down or, there's a change in it. And there's a lot I do, but then if it's something bigger, I'll take it to the car place without hesitation. Because they have better equipment and everything. They have more knowledge. They can get stuff done quicker. And there was a time when I had to fix everything on the car. It changed the oil and all of that stuff. Change the tires, rotate the tires and all of that. And I can't do that if I have to. But if I don't have to, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But one of the things, whenever you have a problem, you have to look at everything. You have to stop, just stop and just say, okay, you have this problem here. Let me sit down and look at it because sometimes people will panic and they'll say, oh, I got this, and they jumping around. And it's like, hold up, this ain't that tough to fix. Why don't you just do this, this, and this? And then it becomes easier for you. It becomes easier, you saving money. And then and one of the problems with sometimes taking it to other people, sometimes if you know nothing, if you know absolutely nothing, you got some scammers out there. They'll charge you more than should be charged. So even when you taking stuff to other people, have some idea. Have some idea what's going on and everything. That's very important. Very, very important. Because, just going through life, period, just going through life, the more knowledge that you have, the more problems you can solve, the better. That's how a lot of people get caught up because they don't know how to do something themselves. They don't, it could be something as simple as cleaning your rug. Now, if you know how to effectively clean your rug, you don't have to pay somebody else to do it. You can do it yourself. It might seem small, but when you in a position where you have to depend on other people too much, I'm saying too much. Like there's gonna be some things you're gonna have to depend on them for. But if it's too much, there goes your sovereignty. There goes your sovereignty, And that includes everything. Like it's still, even though I've said, hey, if you have a job or something like that, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in a position where you're a manager or you running something, or it's just something you want to do. But it's even better if you making money on your own. You have your own outlet to make money. That way you're not dependent on someone else and their whims. And I mean that. I mean that. You know, you want to make sure, you want to know as much as you can. There's nothing wrong with having knowledge of different things. You know, knowledge of, you know, and it was ironic. I read that in a comic book. It was a comic book character. I can't remember the character, but this character, it was a villain, but this villain had knowledge of every little thing. Every little thing, no matter how minor, even you know, a spark, you know, going out, or, you know, a switch going out in the electric box in a house. This villain knew what to do with that, and that was young, and I was like, oh wait, that's smart. You know, you're like, hey, you know, one of the things going through life is just having knowledge. And I've talked about that before. You want to have as much knowledge as possible. And I'm gonna tell you what, even if somebody, you have to have someone come to your home and fix stuff. And that's something I learned from my grandmother, may her soul rest in peace. She said, sit there and just pay attention to them. Just watch them. Watch everything they do. Like, I give you an example. A great example. I remember I was living in a house in Temple Hills, me and the family. And it had a heater. It had a propane heater. And I never forget, the man I was renting it from said, don't let it go out. Don't let it go out, because then you got to pay for somebody to turn it back on. So what did I do? I let it go out. So I had a guy in there, and he was putting some more propane in and everything. And, you know, it was late. And he even said it. He said, yeah, you're going to have somebody come on and turn it back on. And I was like, oh, okay. But see, I kept calling him. His name was Clarence, and he was an older gentleman, and I kept saying, Mr. Clarence, Mr. Clarence, Mr. Clarence, right? And he said, you don't have to call me Mr. And I never forget, I said to him, no, I have to respect you as an elder. Mr. Clarence stopped. He looked at me for about 20 seconds. No, I mean it, 20 literal seconds, and said, let me go see what's up. He went down in there and turned it back on. I not only saved money, but I watched everything he did, and I ended up having to do it 3 more times myself. Just learning. And that's also another lesson too, about showing respect to your elders. Yeah, because I mean, he saved me a lot of money. But then I saved a lot of money because when I had to turn it back on myself, I didn't need, you know, someone to come out. I was able to solve that problem. So that's the thing. You like solutions. You want to learn as much as you can. You want to be able to fix everything that you can. And like I said, it's no shame if you can't fix something. But if you can, pay attention to when somebody's fixing something or doing something around your home, so you can do it yourself if you have to, you know? And if you don't, just still, you know, it might be a situation where you say, you know what, I'll just let them do it. But you never know. You never know, because back when I had that propane heater, that was a broke period of time. So it was like any little bit of money I saved, boom. So, boom. So anyway, look at all solutions when problem solving. There's no shame in it, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. I want everyone to keep rising to become the sovereign man that you are meant to be. Peace and blessings, everyone.